Alright, friends, Jujutsu Kaisen players, we've just had some huge news drop. I was having a nap and I woke up to this. We've got a server maintenance announcement. But if you look just underneath here, look at this. Balance adjustments to characters, balance adjustments to recollection bits. Now, these are all out on JP, but as I understand it, these are way early. So, on December 3rd, UTC +9, which is my time zone. I'm either +9 or 10. I'm not sure. I think I'm +9. Whatever. Pride. The duration of the rec skill is now set to 8 turns. That's fine. We can still stack it. Rock solid formation. Some slight changes here. None of these are really buffs, but the huge thing is in balance adjustment for characters, these are universally buffs. So, Inherited Cursed Technique, Megami Fushiguro. This is Demon Dog Totality or Divine Dog Totality. Megami, this is the blue one on the standard banner that no one wants to pull. So he's getting some buffs, which will be awesome. So everything he does is getting improved, which is really good, even if it's just some basic damage, but everything goes up. Even the ult improves, everything's up. His auto's up, it's all good. We've got Maverick Outcast Maki. She's getting some extra physical technique damage bonus to herself, which is all cool. Panda is getting some cost reduction, which is really good. As well as Unblockable Drumming Beat is getting a buff. So as you can see, we go from 20% physical increase to 50%. And I think that's the only improvement there, but yes. Then both Jogo and Hanami get massive buffs. So look at all these buffs for Jogo. I'm not going to read through all of these to you. If you really want to, you can read them yourself. Mostly because Jogo is a free-to-play character, and there you go, Thrill of Fighting Hanami. And Hanami are free-to-play characters. It's just that I don't think anyone can actually get them yet. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting, but it's kind of cool too. Then we get Ratio Technique Nanami. His command skill gives him an increase to crit and Black Flash. And now Collapse also gives him an increase during crits. Maizen is getting a buff. And Saki is getting a buff as well. So that's all really good. But here's the really interesting part. We got the roadmap. So we've got a couple of different things. Firstly, on the 3rd, Illusory Tower is out. This is your end game challenge content. So red zone-y type stuff for Jujutsu Kaisen, if you are a Dokkan player. So this is really good, and as you can see on the 3rd, it is the first currently, so it's the end of the next maintenance. We'll be able to climb it and see what we can. It's going to be really hard for free-to-plays, and it's probably going to be really hard for lower spenders as well, as people in the comments are pointing out. The game is moving at a rocketing pace. It's absolutely crazy. I'm excited for this. I think they'll probably be released in waves. So this will be, rather than chopping out the full 50 towers, stages that we've got on JP, I think it is. And I think the 30 that it launched with, I imagine we'll only see 10, 10, 10 and all of that sort of stuff. So on the 3rd, I'm only really expecting 10 stages, but who knows? We might get more. But we also got banners for our bi-weekly update. What's coming out? Well, on the 3rd, between the 3rd and the 17th, we're getting 2 characters. We're getting a red Itadori and a blue Momo. So this is kind of wild, speed-wise. So, red Itadori, if we come over here on the tier list, he's here. He's an S-tier red damage dealer. Skip. This is a giant skip. This is a gigantic skip. He does basic damage. He increases his own crit rate by 40 and his allies' break damage by up to 50 and basically 50% each. And then he does some damage and fills his own ult skill. And he's got an ultimate that is primarily just melee taijutsu damage. And it's got an amazingly high multiplier. He also increases damage received by an enemy to taijutsu damage by 45%. And he always performs a black flash. So he will do really, really good damage. This is a great damage dealer. But here's the thing. Where are we? Yuta's still up, and he'll be up until the end of December. Yuta is better in every single possible thought of the way. So keep pushing for Yuta. Yuta's ult is a bit stronger, and it does damage to all enemies. His skills are stronger. Excuse me. It was just a bit of a yawn there. So, skip. Skippity, skip. Skip this guy. So who else is next? This Momo. This Momo is quite relevant. Let's see. We go back here. Oops. There we go. If we come to support on JP, she is right here. She is arguably the best support in the game. So what does she do? Up to once during the battle, if her health is 60% or below, she gets evasion. This skill 1 increases the enemy's damage received by 15.4% and deals some damage. And it goes up to 21.7%. So not massive buffs, but 2 times 3 turns at level 10, 2 times 3 turns at level 1. So probably good just to max this out at like 5 or 6. That's about going to be optimal, maybe even 7. You can push it a little bit. Tailwind is a damage and break damage buff from between 40% and 20% for 2 turns, all the way up to basically 70% and 20% for 2 turns. And then Reconnaissance. This is really good. This is probably the main one you're going to be wanting to use. Increases all allies' crit rate by 30%, all allies' crit damage by 20%, and decreases all enemies' crit resistance by 30%. And those numbers go to 45, 30, 30. So all very useful. And again, not something you need to worry about maxing. You could probably get it to level 6, and that's 6 or 7, and that's going to be pretty much diminishing returns for you. And then the ult, look at this. Decreases the selected enemy's ultimate gauge by 1 and stuns all the enemies with a 50% chance. If we level it up, the stun goes up to a 90% chance and a little bit of a damage bonus. So realistically, what you're wanting to do is just have her be a skill 3 merchant, a skill 2 merchant, and an ult merchant. None of these need to be hugely invested into if you get them, so that's really nice. I think you can summon for her if you want, but she's probably going to be a skip for most people. In fact, for 99% of the population, I think she's going to be a skip. The reason is, both her and the Red Yuji are going to be going on the standard banner eventually. And with the rate that they're pushing out characters, I assume the standard pool is going to be updated much faster than we're thinking. Maybe even in January or something like that. So the standard pool update might only be a couple of months away at most. So as crazy as that sounds, where do we go? That's where we're at the moment. Now, the other thing is, straight after that, on the 6th of December, we're getting another featured gacha and story event. So what I'm saying is, over the next week, look at this. On the 3rd, new gacha. 2 new gachas here on the 3rd. Then on the 6th, we get what everyone's been waiting for. Hollow Purple. So, we continue to go at a rip-roaring 900 miles an hour. This is much faster than I would have thought. Because, let's be real, the game really doesn't have all that many releases, big releases left. I'm starting to feel like they'll bring Toji forward to like January or something, and then all of the everything up to and including the half annie that we're used to is going to be out within 3 months. And within 6, we're going to be at the anniversary for our half annie. And then by the end of the year, we're going to almost be caught up to JP, which is absolutely insane. I really think they should take a look at... They need to take a look at the cube income. They really do. We knew we were going to get something in January, but... Well, Holo Purple, let's have a look. SS damage dealer. He's massive. One of the best damage dealers in the game. He is a GOJO, so he does leave after 7 turns. When he does a Black Flash, he increases his own crit rate. He does huge taijutsu damage and decreases the opponent's damage. Look at this, 421%. That's some people's ults on his skill 1. Skill 2 increases the selected enemy's damage received, increases the selected enemy's damage, so it's like a taunt type of thing, and then increases his own damage by 55%. Look at this, 30, that's 10, so that's not too bad, and you can taunt him. And then a 70% damage buff for himself. Let's start with you. Gives his own break damage up, 220% damage, and increases the selected enemy's damage a bit. Decreases the selected enemy's damage a bit. So this goes up to 362% damage to the opponent. And then he's got a Yuta-like ult, similar to Momo as well. So he's dealing 1,999% range Jujutsu damage to everyone. He leaves the field, so you do this on the very last turn. But if you need to, he also decreases the enemy's ult gauge by 2. He is absolutely one of the best damage dealers in the game. And he's coming in 5 days. That's wild, right? That is wild. That's wild, wild, wild. That is so fast. Hopefully more cubes. Hopefully a lot of tickets. We need all of this because this is fast. This is really, really fast. This is insanely fast. So the thing is, skip. Yuta is the priority. I know that sounds weird, but Yuta is the priority. He's on the level of Yuta, but he's standard banner. So because he's standard banner, he'll be back around. He'll go into the pool of the normal gacha, and it's just go Yuta. Yuta is your number 1 priority. Then on the 6th to the 20th, when this guy pops out, his story event will come out, which is good. We'll get hopefully some more AP pots to keep this going. Then on the 3rd as well, Chapter 10, main story. On the 3rd as well, grade up so we can go to level 97. And that's our update. So, huge information on the 3rd. On the 3rd, there's 2 banners, tower and a main story update. So that's on Tuesday for me, whenever it is for you guys. And then on the 6th, GOJO and his story event. Holo Purple is here. It's absolutely wild. I don't know what's going on. I hope they calm down at least by the end of the year, or just give massive numbers of cubes, because this is crazy. We knew they were moving differently to JP. They've altered the deal, and I guess we just pray they don't alter it any further. Alright guys, let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you all next one. Peace.